Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over what the Giants should do at quarterback. So, the Giants need a lot of help at quarterback, but they have several options. So, we're going to be going over all their options and what I think they should do. And keep in mind, this is all coming from a Giants fan. Now, the Giants, they do have one quarterback currently on their roster because they re signed Tommy DeVito, and they still need two quarterbacks. That doesn't really change anything that they've re signed him because, at best, he's a quarterback three. But starting with their options in free agency. First option, Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold, he's an interesting option, coming off a career year with the Vikings, where he was top 5 in passing yards and touchdowns, as he threw for 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions, while leading the Vikings to 14 wins. Now, Darnold was awful in the Vikings' final 2 games, but he still had a great year, and he was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, I like Sam Darnold, but I don't think he'd be a good fit in the Giants for 3 reasons. One, we've already seen him with the New York team when he was awful with the Jets. Two, I think a lot of his success in Minnesota was because he was in a very quarterback-friendly system, and he had a great supporting cast. And number three, I don't think Sam Darnold would be a great option for the Giants because he's likely going to be looking for a long-term deal, and I just don't think that's something the Giants would be looking for or should do. They're more looking for a short-term bridge quarterback before they can hand it over to a young guy. The next option via free agency would be Jameis Winston. And Jameis, he's coming off a year where he was the Browns' backup quarterback, also made 7 starts after Deshaun Watson got hurt. He threw for 2,121 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Now, Jameis Winston not afraid to make any throw on the field, which is going to lead to a lot of yards and touchdowns, but a lot of interceptions. Now, I wouldn't hate the Giants signing Jameis Winston, but definitely not my first choice. I also don't see him being a very realistic option. The next option, Russell Wilson. He's an interesting one. He's coming off a solid year with the Steelers, where he started 11 games and threw for 2,482 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Now, Russ actually started off the season really good, as in his first 7 starts, the Steelers went 6-1, and he was averaging 254 yards per game, 12 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. But in the Steelers' final 5 games, Wilson wasn't great, averaging just 193 passing yards per game, with 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and the Steelers lost all 5 of those games. Now, I think Russ can be a solid option for the Giants because he's an experienced quarterback, won't be on the team for too long, and he should be pretty cheap on a 1-year deal. And our final option via free agency, Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is a name that there's been a lot of rumors around for the Giants. And when I first heard Aaron Rodgers, I didn't love it because he wasn't great with the Jets and he also tried to control the team. But the more I think about this, he could be a great fit for the Giants and exactly what they need. Now, Rodgers wasn't terrible with the Jets. At age 41 and a year off a torn Achilles, he still threw for 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. Now, the numbers aren't anything special, and they're not MVP numbers, but he was still solid. And I think Rodgers can be a very solid 1-year option for the Giants. And I think a young quarterback can learn a ton from one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. Now, the only downside with Rodgers is the Giants, they can't let him control the team like he did with the Jets. If he says he wants to get Devontae Adams, that's fine. He was recently released and still a very good receiver. But if he says he wants to go to other players like Allen Lazard and players he's played with before on either the Packers or the Jets, then that starts to become a problem. But I think Aaron Rodgers would be a great option for the Giants, and they should try to sign him once he is released by the Jets. Then you look at the Giants' options in the draft. So the Giants, they're in a very interesting spot. They currently have the 3rd pick, but I can see them doing a few different things. Option 1 is staying put at number 3 and taking Shedeur Sanders, because there is a very good chance the Browns don't take quarterback at number 2, and instead take someone like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, which would leave Shedeur Sanders available at number 3, and the Giants seem to like him, although I wouldn't love that move for the Giants. Option number 2 is staying at number 3 overall, taking the best player available, whether that's Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter or someone like that, and then trading into the back end of the first round to take Jackson Dart. Now, I think this is the least likely option, but I really like Jackson Dart as a prospect. He's got a good arm, he's mobile, and I think he could be a good player. Plus, the last time the Giants had a quarterback from Ole Miss, turned out pretty well. And the final option for the Giants is trading up to the number 1 overall pick to take Cam Ward. And this has been a rumor picking up a lot of steam over the past few days. And this definitely seems to be believable because the Giants, their front office and coaching staff is in a spot where they need to make a big move at quarterback and significantly improve the team because they're desperate to keep their jobs. Now, with all the rumors about the Giants potentially moving up to number 1, At this point, I would be more surprised if the Giants don't move up to the top spot versus if they do. But those are the three options in the draft. As far as who I prefer, Cam Ward is my top option. He is a great player, got a ton of potential. My second choice might be controversial, but I think it's Jackson Dart. I really like him. I'm a lot higher on him than a lot of other people are. Plus, I think he'd be able to hand the New York media a lot better than Shedeur Sanders would. And Shedeur Sanders is option 3. I still think he's definitely a good player, and he could still be good with the Giants. But I definitely think there's better options. I'd rather Jackson Dart. Plus, obviously, who knows how he'll handle the media. Now, as far as what I think the Giants will do, I think they're going to sign Aaron Rodgers in free agency. They've already been talking with him, and apparently that's been going pretty well. And then, as far as the quarterback they draft, I think it's going to be Cam Ward. I think they'll trade up to number 1, take Cam Ward. I am interested to see what the potential trade compensation would be with the Giants and Titans if they were to move up to number 1, whether they would have to include a first-round pick from next year. Hopefully not, but we'll have to see what that looks like. But not only is this what I think the Giants will do, but I think it's what the Giants should do. Aaron Rodgers, he would be a great mentor for a young quarterback like Cam Ward. Cam Ward's got a ton of potential and can definitely be the Giants' quarterback of the future. But that is what I think the Giants will and should do and how they should address the quarterback position. Obviously, there's a lot of needs for the Giants, not just quarterback. They can improve the offensive line. They need a corner. They need more defensive tackles. There's a lot of needs for the Giants, but obviously quarterback is the big one. But that is what I think the Giants will and should do at quarterback. Sign Aaron Rodgers, draft Cam Ward, whether he sits behind Rodgers for the whole year or half the year, however long. But I think that's what they should do. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If I missed something that you guys think the Giants should do, comment in the comments. But that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn notifications. I do my best to put as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.